So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Agent Market's very first Agent Masterclass. My name is Kimberly Knoke, and I'm the founder of Agent Market. We created these Agent Masterclasses so that experts who are doing the work right now can share their practical strategies with you. Now, I want to give you one quick note. Everything that we share today is for educational purposes only. We do not give any financial, legal, or professional advice that is specific to your situation. Um, as for our guest, I am very excited to introduce Deborah Stellingwerff, an award-winning Vancouver realtor, author of Aligned and Prosper, and host of Aligned and Prosperous podcast. What sets Deborah apart is how she's built a practice that's both profitable and sustainable, and she coaches realtors to create profitable businesses without the burnout. Today, she's going to walk us through the 5 pillars of a thriving real estate business. So I want to welcome Deborah. Thank you very much for being our very first guest on our very first Agent Masterclass today.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me, Kimberly. It's just a joy to be here, and I'm really excited about what you're doing and the innovation that you're bringing to the industry and the this new way of supporting agents in growing their business. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm really happy to be collaborating with you on this masterclass today. So let's dive in, shall we? So, as Kimberly said, I'm going to share the 5 pillars of an aligned and prosperous business. These are based on the 5 pillars that I write about in my new book, the best-selling book, Align and Prosper, the Modern Real Estate Agent's Guide to Thriving Without Burnout. I wrote this book because I was a realtor. I've been on both sides of the equation of burnout and prosperity, and sometimes both at the same time. And I really did believe there was a different way of doing things when I found myself in a state of, this cannot be all there is. There has to be a better way. And I was really lucky to have mentors and coaches who agreed with me and supported me with that. And before I was a realtor, I was a high school English teacher. I have a master's degree in rhetorical studies, which is the persuasive use of language. I am, at my heart and soul, a teacher. So when I figured out the real estate thing and then figured out how to do it with some ease and grace and spaciousness without burnout, I started helping other people, and people kept telling me, you should become a coach. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to start another business. And it wasn't very long into my first day of coach training that I realized, oh, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm on the planet. This is why all the things that have happened have led me to this moment. And so here we are. I really feel passionate about supporting agents to run their business profitably without burnout, because real estate agents are the second or third in terms of stress and burnout. And so I'm really passionate about helping agents to run their business in a different way. And that has led me to create the Align and Prosperous path that I have helped now hundreds of agents to work through to create businesses that support lives they love. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the reason I do this work is because there literally is nothing more important than you feeling good. You started your business to support a life you love. You started your business for freedom, for prosperity, all the reasons that you started it. None of them included you being stressed and not feeling good. If that's not true, let me know in the chat. But I believe there's nothing more important than you feeling good in your business. And this is behind everything that I do and teach with my clients and in my book. So if you haven't already connected with me, take a quick screenshot of this. This is where you can connect. I share all kinds of things. We do free master classes, sometimes like this with someone like Agent Market, sometimes on my own platform, but do connect with me. Before we start, I want to ask you these very important questions. Where are you in relationship to where you want to be? Because that's the first step to understanding how to get where you want to go. So asking yourself, what's your number one challenge in your business right now is a great place to start, to figure out where you are right now. It could be structure, it could be cash flow, it could be your leadership, it could be lead generation. So think about what that thing is that is really your biggest challenge in your business. And then as we go through the presentation today, and I'm going to share with you my 5 pillars and the 5 ingredients you need to actually run an aligned and prosperous business, I want you to be really thinking about what's that one thing of all the things I share that if you could solve it in the next 90 days, it would make the biggest impact on your business, your life, and your income. Okay, so that's setting the stage. And I also just want to acknowledge you all for taking the time to be with us here today, because this tells me that you're the kind of person who is not satisfied with staying stuck, not feeling good, staying stuck, not being aligned and prosperous in your life and your business. So let's go. We're going to cover the 5 pillars of the aligned and prosperous real estate business. And in that, you're going to see how you will attract clients, aligned clients with ease, because that's a big part of when you're in alignment, you will attract people who are easy to work with, you feel good about serving. So the aligned and prosperous way is all about alignment over hustle. If you've been on the planet for any length of time at all, you will have been getting those messages about how hard, working hard and hustle. You got to work hard to be successful. And you do have to put the work in, don't get me wrong. But burnout is no longer the badge of honor it used to be. If you go back 20 years, there's this movement towards sleeping 5 hours a night and working for 12 hours a day, and you can be super successful that way. Hold it as a badge of honor. And you might catch yourself sometimes saying, "Oh, I'm so busy." And you've heard people say that, "I'm so busy." And they're kind of proud of the fact they're busy, because we get this message from our society that when we're busy, we're important. But let me tell you this, success without joy is not really success. So my longing for you is that you will choose alignment over hustle, knowing that your alignment with yourself is your advantage and your key to true success. And ease is really the energy of true success. So, the first time I hit $250,000 in my business, and I use that number specifically because it was a goal that was set externally. This community that I was a part of set that as the measure for success. And the first time I hit it, I was like, this isn't fun. Doesn't feel like success. There was no joy in it. Now, you can definitely have joy in any amount of money. It's not about the money. But the fact was that I set that goal based on somebody else's idea of success. And it wasn't tied to what I wanted for myself. Yeah, I want money. I like money. It's good. But that particular time, it was more about getting approval. So we want to make sure that we're not chasing success. We're welcoming it from this place of ease and grace. So there's 5 pillars in the aligned and prosperous path: alignment, confidence, leadership, structure, and prosperity. I go into this in much more depth in my book. So this is just a taster. This is the taster menu of what you get inside my book, in my podcast, on my social media channels, and even more in my private coaching. So let me take you through the 5 pillars of the aligned and prosperous way. Pillar 1, the power of being in alignment, the power of being you. So the key question to ask yourself is, how aligned are you? And I've got some questions to help you determine how aligned you are. So if you're watching this in the replay, we will have included the worksheet that goes with this. But if you're watching live right with us right now, thank you for being here. And take a moment. I'm going to give you a moment right now to look at these questions and rate yourself. How aligned are you? Do you know your brand essence? Do you know what makes you magnetic? Can you actually state what your brand voice is? Is your brand nurturing and mothering? Is it professional and formal? Is it like celebrity energy? Okay, so my brand is a bit of celebrity energy. You'll see I have gold everywhere. I really like sparkly things. That's my archetype is celebrity, but my brand essence is a little bit of sparkle and a lot of loving. So I know my brand essence. I know who I am as a brand, and my message is equal parts soul and strategy. And that's my brand essence. So what is yours? Are you living in alignment with your core values? If you have a core value of honesty, are you living in honesty? Are you showing up in your business in a way that feels aligned with your values? So I've had situations where people are recently telling me that they're working with a team and they just feel like, this isn't quite a good fit. This isn't alignment for me because I really like to serve in this way of being super nurturing and white glove service. Whereas this team, they just want to rush things and cut corners. And that's not in alignment for me. So are you living in alignment? Do you know and use your zone of genius daily? Your zone of genius is those things that you're so good at, you could do them all day long without getting tired or bored. So for me, it's teaching. My zone of genius is teaching and coaching. What is not in my zone of genius is social media. So Kimberly and I was having this conversation before we came on the call, and the social media, I can do it, but it's definitely in my zone of competence. So I have it outsourced and I get help with that. And so I want to make sure that I'm spending as much time as I possibly can in my zone of genius because that's the place where I'm energized from. Are you leading with your why? Your why is your purpose for being. Now, my why, and your why has nothing to do with your goal for the year. Like you might have your goal is to take your family to Disneyland. That's not your why. That's your goal. Your why is more like the purpose you're doing something. So my purpose, my why is to help people discover their possibility so they can live in alignment and prosperity. That's my why. It always has been when I was a teacher, when I was a realtor, now as a coach. And your why stays consistent over time because it's what you feel like you're on the planet to do. And the last one, are you living by design or are you living by default? Do you wake up each day and let life happen to you, let business happen to you, reply to emails and go look for other people to tell you what to do? Or are you being super intentional? Are you deciding to be the architect of your life? That's living by design. So those are the questions to ask yourself. So where are you at in terms of living in alignment? Right? If you're rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not at all, 5 being fully, if you're somewhere in between, if you've got 3s in any of these or less, you need to maybe pay attention to that. When you come back to that question, is what's that one thing that's going to move the needle in the next 90 days? Remember this, you don't have to do more to attract clients. You have to be more yourself. And the alignment pillar is one of the ways to help you become more yourself when you answer those questions. So I want to leave you with this assignment to complete this sentence. I am. It might be, I am worthy. It might be, I am powerful. It might be, I am the architect of my own life. And I'm willing to show up and do my part. Brings us to pillar number 2, confidence. How confident do you feel in your business? These are the questions we want to ask. Do you recognize your inner saboteurs and shift from them fast? Do you notice when your mind is going, oh, I suck, I'm terrible at this, and stop yourself? Do you feel mentally fit and emotionally steady on most days? Are you taking aligned action from courage even when you're uncomfortable? Do you celebrate progress and self-trust, not just results? Being an entrepreneur means celebrating and trusting in the actions you take daily before you experience the results. If you're waiting all the time for results and you're judging yourself as being wrong or bad or stupid or not having done enough because you don't have the results yet, you will struggle and suffer the whole time you're an entrepreneur. So it's going to be so important to shift that. And then finally, would your clients describe you as grounded and confident? Great question to be asking yourself as you go down this path. Okay, so here's the thing. Your mind can be your greatest asset or your biggest liability. You get to train it. So I don't have time to go into them today, but I have a number of mental fitness and mindfulness exercises on my YouTube channel. And I have even more inside my private academy for realtors at the Aligned and Prosperous Academy, because a big part of what we do, 1/5 of what we do, in fact, is training your brain to be resilient, to not get caught up in the negative self-talk, the messaging of that we've been trained to believe that you're not good enough. Success is for other people, not you. One of the things when I first started in real estate, I was so hard on myself. And if I made a mistake, I used to say, "Oh my gosh, I suck. I'm so stupid." And I was really fortunate to have a coach who said to me, "How about we don't say that anymore?" And it was a big game changer for me. Just stop saying that. Stop any self-criticism. Now, you wouldn't expect to never go to the gym and have a physically fit body. The same is true of your brain. If you're not taking care of yourself, taking care of your brain and your mental fitness, you will have a flabby brain. And a flabby brain is more susceptible to stress, mental illness, and anxiety, and all the things that come from not having the mental fitness that allows you to be resilient, allows you to bounce back from disappointments, allows you to intercept those negative critical self-talk that we all are subject to, because it's partly cultural, it's partly just training, it's partly our brain trying to protect us from danger. So building your mental fitness is the key to getting around that. Brings us to pillar number 3, the language of sales and leadership. So the first 2 pillars in the Aligned and Prosperous method are really about you, about who you are and who you're becoming. Taking care of yourself in body, mind, and spirit, especially mind. Confidence is an inside job. It comes from inside your brain. The next 3 pillars, we turn our attention outward to our skills. So the question to ask yourself is, how are you leading your business? Are you leading it, or are you just letting it happen? And one of the ways we know that we're leading intentionally is the language you're using. So the whole focus on part 3 of my book is the language of sales leadership. And so some questions to ask yourself. Do you see yourself as a leader in every client relationship, or are you a people pleaser? I have a podcast episode on that, by the way, which is called Pleasing versus Serving. And then there's another one called How to Stop People Pleasing Your Way Out of Success. So, because it's a big thing that happens in the real estate industry, because the real estate industry attracts 2 kinds of people. Sometimes you're both of these people at the same time. One is a helper and a server, and the other is a do-it-yourselfer. So if you're in real estate, you're probably a little bit of both of those. Someone who wants to help other people and someone who feels like you have to do it all yourself. So if you're in people-pleasing mode, you're not in leadership. Is your language clear and confident, or is it reactive and rushed? I'm going to give you some examples in a moment. Do you have boundaries and expectations with clients? Or are they calling you at all times of the day and night without any regard for your limits to when you can be accessed? Sorry. I had someone told me yesterday that she had a client who actually yelled at her because he was stressed out. And she said to him, "It's not okay for you to talk to me like that." And he backed down and said, "I'm so sorry. I'm just so stressed out." But here's the thing, is that a lot of people will just let that happen. Oh, they're upset. I'm just going to and then they feel bad. They don't know how to deal with it. And I think it's really important to have those clear boundaries and know what to say in that moment, because it will happen. So number 4, when challenges come up, do you lead with heart and clarity, or do you lead with fear? And are you proactive or constantly putting out fires? Because if you're constantly putting out fires, that is not leadership. That's managing. So I'm going to give you some tips for some language you can use for your leadership. And of course, you want to dig into all of this. You're going to have to dive into my book. So, the reason I'm doing this is because sales is leadership. And so often people say, I don't want to be salesy. And so they don't learn the language of sales leadership. But what you're saying when you say, I don't want to be salesy is you're like, I don't want to be a leader. And if you think of it that way, I hope that will help you to shift and recognize that the better you get at being a leader with your language, the more effective you will be, and the more aligned clients you're going to attract, and the more deals you're going to close because you're not in shorter periods of time, because you're not wasting time. And you can be a leader without becoming across as pushy and convincing and grasping. That's not what leadership is. So when you communicate with calm authority, people will trust you and they will want to work with you. That's what this is about. So I'm going to give you some examples, some messaging mistakes you want to avoid. Remove these 3 phrases from your vocabulary. Never use them again because they weaken your presence. Just checking in. There's an apology implicit in that statement. Sorry to bother you. Again, another obvious apology. And this one is a little more subtle. I know you're busy. I never want to give other people excuses that they're busy to not answer me. Because it's almost like I'm so sorry, you're so busy. And it's an overvaluing their time and undervaluing of your time. So we want to shift that language. And here's some replacements for those kind of phrases. Lead instead with language like this. I was thinking about your goals and I wanted to follow up. Those are no apology. Just like, I was thinking about you and I wanted to follow up. And then you lead into the next sentence. Would it be valuable? Notice this is actually basically a paragraph you can send in an email. Would it be valuable if I sent you X, or if we met to discuss Y? You fill in the blanks. And if somebody tells you they're busy, rather than going, oh, I know you're busy, I'm so sorry, you can just say, I'm here when you're ready. My time is valuable. I'd love to help you. I'm here when you're ready. Okay. So I have all kinds of scripts inside my programs, inside the Align and Prospers Academy, but here's just a little taste of the type of language shift you can make to really shift you out of people pleasing into leadership. And that is absolutely key for you being in alignment, because nobody feels good when they're people pleasing. Let's be honest, right? So even if it's a habit you have, I know it doesn't feel good, right? Or you might have convinced yourself that it feels good and it makes you a nice person, but it probably doesn't feel good because you're not getting the results you want. You're feeling like you have to be grasping and convincing, and you absolutely do not. My clients who step into their leadership and stop with the people pleasing, they're the ones who have the greatest advancements in their businesses and in their income. This is absolutely essential for your success and your prosperity in real estate. Okay, let's move to pillar number 4, systems. My number 1 question is this, that I ask this of everybody. Do you run your business like a business? Or are you running it like a reaction machine, right? You're running it like you're just reacting to everything, putting fires out, reacting, and waiting for other people to tell you what to do, checking your emails to see if anybody's asking you to help them. Or do you have systems in place? Are you making it up as you go? Like every single time you ask somebody to sign a FinTrack document, are you doing the exact same method? That's a system. Or are you just randomly doing it at different times where you have to make a decision about it every time? Systems are all about making decisions ahead of time so you don't have to make them in the moment. And you just rinse and repeat. So some questions for you to consider with your systems. Do you have a repeatable client creation system? Are you doing lead gen in a way that's repeatable? You know that it works, so you keep doing it. If you know open houses are great for you, keep doing them. If you know that online leads are great for you and you've got a really great script to follow up with them to get them to call you back, keep doing it. Do you have your processes and your checklist documented, or is everything in your head? Because if it's in your head, it's taking up space And that is valuable real estate inside your brain. And when you're trying to hold all these little details together, it's really hard for you to be innovative and creative about lead gen. And right now, in this crazy market we find ourselves in, more than ever, this is always true, but more than ever right now in 2025, you have to have space in your brain to be innovative and to show up as a leader. And when you're just busy trying to remember all the details, you don't have space for that. You're in reaction mode. Number 3, does your calendar reflect your values? Going back to part 1. If you say family is a key value of yours, do you have time for your family? Is fitness a key value of yours? Health and fitness, do you have time for that? Number 4, do you regularly review your business and profit plan? Do you even have a profit plan? Do you know what a profit plan is? Because if you don't have a profit plan or a business plan, then how do you expect to get the results? It's just on a wing and a prayer and a wish? You can do better than that. Do you know your key numbers? What it costs to run your business, what it costs to run your life, how much money you want to make to fund your dreams after you've paid for your business and your life? Do you know how many leads you need to get those results? How many conversions do you have? Every time you do an open house, how many people do you talk to? How many of them actually become your clients? What profits are you making? What are your expenses versus what your profits are at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year? Knowing that is all part of running your business like a business. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of that, take a breath and know that this is a process that will take time to set up. You don't have to do it all at once. This is what actually stops a lot of people from doing it at all, is they get overwhelmed by all the things that have to be done to set up a system-driven business, a process and system-driven business. Okay, so just keep in mind that the structure will set you free. Structure is not about rigidity. It's about freedom. And a lot of people go, oh, I just like to do it however I want. Well, that's not freedom. That's chaos. So systems will actually give you the space to breathe because you know every day what you're supposed to do. If you have a marketing system, you know every January you do in Vancouver, you would do tax letters and say, "Oh, your property assessment just came out," that's your first tax thing. And if you want to challenge the assessed value, here's what you do. Every Christmas, you send out Christmas cards. Birthdays, if you want to send out birthday cards every month, have a system for that so you don't have to keep it all in your head. So that it's in your CRM, you print it out. There's my list of people who get a birthday card this month. Structure is the source of balance. You want to be more balanced, you will need structure. You will need things in place that automate your business for you. Okay. Pillar number 5 is prosperity. The Aligned and Prosperous Money Map is something I created to help you to get into a right relationship with money. I got certified as a money coach a couple years into my coaching journey because I found that so much of the stress and upset and fear that real estate agents experience in their business has to do with money and cash flow and fear of not being worthy of it, fear of not having enough, fear of spending too much, like just all the fear around money. And when you have fear and negative energy around money, you will attract more of what you're experiencing. So pillar number 5 is all about getting you into the right relationship with money so you can be more relaxed and spacious about it. So a couple of questions to ask yourself. Do you know your money story and how it drives your behavior? I'm going to give you a chance to check your money story in a moment. Are your prices and your boundaries aligned with your worth? So in real estate, we're not allowed to have standard fees. We have a usual fee that gets used, at least in British Columbia. It's somewhere between 7 and 2.5 and 7 and 3. That's the most common. We can't say it's standard because the Competition Bureau does not allow standardized pricing for listings, and you get to choose what you want. But you're asking yourself, is it aligned with your values? And do you have boundaries around that? Because often I have clients come to me and say, oh, I'm about to have this listing presentation and I think they're going to ask me to cut my commission. And so it's about getting really clear about your value and your worth and what you bring and what you're willing to do with clients. Are you willing to discount your service? excuse me, it's entirely up to you if you are. However, you need to make sure you're really clear on that. So, number three, do you track and celebrate income consistently? Keep track of your money. Do you know what you have coming in? Do you know what you're spending? Are you celebrating it? Because if you're like, oh, I just got a $10,000 check, but oh my gosh, it's not enough, then your focus is on not enough as opposed to, wow, money's on its way to me. And when money slows down, do you panic or do you pivot? Because panic doesn't help. Panic is all about fear of the future. I don't have enough. I'm not going to have enough. And we want to make sure that we pivot out of that mindset into, I've always had enough money. I'm going to take the actions to make sure the money is coming my way. And then finally, and you can get this inside the book, is do you have a prosperity practice with gratitude for what you have, gratitude for what's coming your way, intentions about what you want to create with cash, focus on your money, tracking your money. And I didn't make a mistake. It's in there twice because it's that important. Paying attention to your money, track it, track it, track it. Know what's coming in. Because when you know what you have, it takes away the fear of the uncertainty. I had this terrible fear I'm not going to have enough for retirement. And every time I meet with my financial advisor, she's like, you're fine. I'm really good at looking at my day-to-day monthly banking, my bank accounts. I'm not as good at looking at my investments, and my investments don't have the same kind of meaning for me. So I can get myself in fear about that. So then I just check in with her. Like, am I okay? Am I doing okay?
It really fits in with what you've been talking about at the start. What are your strengths? Is this something that gives you energy and motivation and you like doing it, right? If not, outsource it to an expert. If it is something that you're good at, then build the system. You can review it easily on a monthly basis and you
Yeah.
can make your plan based on the business plan that you've got because you've got your purpose, your goals that you want to achieve, and you know quickly whether you need to pivot, change. So I love that. It really all
Yeah.
brings it back together.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And when you create those systems, it supports you. And if you can't do it, get somebody to help you do it for sure, because it will make your life so much easier. And that's what we're all about is alignment and prosperity and peace and just feeling good in your business. There's too many people who are not feeling good in their business. Okay. I want to wrap this up, but here's some of the things to look at. And you'll know when you read these, which one is your money story? Or we might have several of these. Right? We are trained by our culture. It is a Protestant work ethic legacy that when you work harder, you will make more money. Hard work equals success. Not necessarily true. There's lots of people who work really hard and they don't achieve the level of success they're hoping for. The story that you're not good with money. Of course you're not, unless you've learned how to do it. Nobody's good at it when they start. So we have this expectation that everyone's supposed to be good at money without having any kind of education or support around it. And you might have grown up in a family where it was taboo or impolite to talk about money. My mom was an executive for the biggest bank in the country, and we didn't talk about money because that was rude. Okay. So you might think it's selfish or greedy to want more. So often people say, oh, I don't want to be greedy, but catch yourself when you're saying that. We can dig deeper what that means. It's okay to want to have more. It's okay to want to have a lifestyle that inspires you. And there's nothing greedy about that. Number 4, I have to choose between purpose and profit. Not true. I'm living my purpose and I have a profitable business. Feast or famine, and that's just true with a lot of realtors that I work with as well, by the way, that they are living a purposeful life, whether it's through their business or through philanthropy that their business allows them to do. And then finally, feast or famine is just how it is in real estate. Not true. Feast or famine is optional. Now, you're going to have to set yourself up for the success and move yourself out of this pattern of feast or famine, but it is optional. Okay. So think about what your money story is. And if you want to dig in a little bit deeper with that and start reprogramming that story, I've got something for you. When You change your money story, you will change what's possible. So I've created a 50 done for you money beliefs that will help you. It's a book of affirmations to help you rewire your story. If you're telling yourself the story that you're not good with money, that you'll have to work harder to be successful, then that's going to be your reality. If you tell yourself the story, I'm available for prosperity. Why not me? I'm available for 10, 20, $50,000 a month, whatever your goal is. And let yourself have another story. And I've given you 50 of them to choose from. Use all of them, use the ones that resonate, but definitely use them. All right. So finally, to finish up here, and go ahead and pop this in the chat or underneath the recording if that's where you're watching this on recording. I want you to notice which pillar needs your attention the most right now. Chances are they all need a little bit of attention. This is why I've written the book about all of them. However, if we try to take it all on at once, we'll just get overwhelmed and we won't make any changes. So instead, look at where do you need the most attention right now? Is it alignment? Is it with your confidence? Is it your leadership and your language? Is it systems and structures? Or is it your money mindset? Where do you need to give the most attention so that in the next 90 days, you'll have a major shift in your business? Okay. And now to wrap us up, this beautiful butterfly is just a metaphor for the reminder that awareness is the first step. And action is where transformation happens. So identifying which of the pillars needs your attention and then taking a small action. And I've got 3 possible action steps for you, and then I'll wrap up. So your next aligned action could be one or all of these 3. Go to Amazon or Kobo and get my book. I've created this as a guide to help you thrive. I've spent years writing this and years creating the methodology that is the Aligned and Prosperous Way that I know is really effective. I have clients like my client Deanne, who, when she came to me, decided she wanted to work 10 months of the year. She wanted to have 2 months off a year and still maintain her multi-6-figure income. She's doing it. I have clients like Tony, who same thing, was overwhelmed, stressed out, had worn herself out to the point of exhaustion and diabetes because she wasn't taking care of herself. And she now has 3 kids and a team and is running her business from this place of ease and grace and spaciousness. And she will tell you, you still have to work. There are sprints in entrepreneurship, absolutely. But she said it's amazing how easy life and business is right now. And she watches herself having a different experience than people she's interacting with. And you can have that too. So get my book. Everything you need is in there. If you're in Vancouver and you're watching this before November 14th, actually before November 11th, because I have to give them the numbers by November 11th, I invite you to check out my master plan event. It's my annual business planning event in person at the Arbutus Club. And then finally, use the link here below to book a breakthrough call with me, and we'll get you those specific steps that you can take in that pillar where you know if you gave a little bit of attention that everything would shift in the next 90 days. Chat.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for taking us through the 5 pillars and giving us a taster. I so yeah, it's just so nicely written. You can start wherever you want in the book, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to thank you again for giving everyone this taster. I vouch for your book. I
Thank
think it's
you.
an incredible resource, and
And Kimberly,
thanks
thank
again,
you. Thanks for
Deborah.
saying that, because I did write my book. And this is why it was such a big endeavor, because I wanted to write it in a way that allowed people to just dip in wherever they needed at the time. Because that's how I coach too. I don't think you should need to show up to my coaching and do things in the order I think you should do them, because we learn best based on what we need to learn at the time. It's um, context learning is so powerful. And so this is why, so I'm really thrilled to hear you say that, because that was my goal.
Well, you've definitely achieved that. So again, I want to thank you very much. If anybody wants to connect with either me or Deborah, you can connect with us on our socials, on LinkedIn. Please do reach out. We're always happy to connect and chat with you. As for next time, we've got Carl Cran coming up with strategies around YouTube marketing. So please sign up for the next masterclass as well. And again, one last time, Deborah, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed having you here, and it's very special for me to have you as our first guest on our Agent Masterclasses.
Thank you so much.